Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of, I don't know, Oswin Cooks, or Oswin by my side. We're changing the name right now. It's exciting times. It's got to have something to cooking theme in it. You're cooking, I'm cooking with my grandma here. And we're going to make what we talked about last time, those amazing, and I call them apple crepes. She calls them apple pancakes. And this is the...
we don't really have a name for them.
We don't have a name. Yeah, you can, and this will be the question of the day in the comments if you want to say what the name should be for this amazing brunch / lunch / apple egg extravaganza. It's going to be awesome. You're going to enjoy it.
It's really good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. All right, so we'll start getting ingredients out. This is, my grandma doesn't use her dishwasher anymore, and it's turned into her own little pantry. It's awesome.
Because I can't.
That's brilliant.
Too much work.
We have apples, and then what's next?
Eggs.
Eggs, and then dairy,
And
then
flour.
flour.
Oh, you put the flour in before you put the dairy in.
Well, yeah, we'll show that later, but these are the ingredients. And then there's salt in here. So it is literally a 5-ingredient meal that we're making today, and it should be really, really good.
You have to don't forget we have some butter and salad oil that goes into when we're frying them.
The butter, yeah, so when we're frying.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing, we gotta cut the apples, you said, right?
Yeah.
How do you do it? You go right down the middle?
Well, I take the inside out.
But what I mean is you split it in half.
Yeah.
And this is where a good paring knife would come into play.
Well, I've got a good paring knife.
Oh, no, I don't have one. I've been on my other videos. Oh, I'm cutting it with it backwards. It's very dull. My mom keeps telling me to bring the knife sharpener out here.
I've got a knife sharpener. You just have to run it through there about 3 times and it's sharp as you want it. These are chef knives from someplace.
That's hilarious.
Give me that. I don't have to get your mother's. I got 2 or 3 of them here.
I bought my mom hers.
If
I
you
got everybody in the family an electric knife sharpener.
I've got this one, and I've got another one that you can use hand weight, and I've got one that Ed's mother had for years and years and years. I'll show that one to you. I've got it here. Yeah, here it is.
Oh my goodness. That's a knife sharpener?
Yep, that's the old-fashioned kind.
It's been used so many times that it's got a groove worked into it. Wow, okay. You don't even see those around anymore.
You have to make these apples really thin because that's what makes them good.
Paper thin. Like that.
It's putsy, this whole thing.
That's why we don't make it very often?
Yeah, I make it a lot of times for myself because it's, you can warm it up and it's really good the second day too. First day, usually you have them all gone by the time you're done. It's like popcorn, you just can't leave it alone. You think, oh, there's just a couple there, I'll have another bite. And then pretty soon it's all gone and you think, oh my God, I ate all of it?
That's all the food I make is like that. Or maybe it's just I don't know when to stop eating.
Well, we'll see what we can do about that.
We made those hamburgers the other night.
Yeah.
On Thursday, I had 2 of them.
Oh God, and I had a hard time finishing one.
Is it apple season or is that another month?
So apple season is in October.
October?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both you and my mom had apples on hand. It's like,
Right now it's blueberry season and strawberry season.
Those are the recipes. We should be making a rhubarb.
I got a rhubarb pie in the oven that's all done. If you want to, sometime you can come and I'll make a rhubarb custard pie. This was a Friday dish when Catholics couldn't eat meat on Friday. This is our apple dish on those Fridays when I was a kid.
Really? Yeah, because that was a year-round thing, right?
Yeah. And during lunch, you really got it whammy because you had Wednesdays for fasting too.
Aunt Julie, you can come in here. We just edit stuff out.
This is the last,
You know?
This is the last of the flowers that you got from her 90th birthday.
Oh, and by the way, seriously, Liz wanted those flowers are for you from her. So yeah, so from Liz.
Those ones that are in the garbage?
No,
Oh.
they're out in the other room.
Think about that, Aunt Liz. It's terrible. Just kidding. That won't be out
She got a new, she bought herself a house.
A little
Aunt Liz
house.
bought a
Yeah.
really nice, awesome.
I got some pictures here of some
It's
place.
just a little cracker box, isn't it?
It's a small house, but it's cute. I thought Albert would come over earlier and we could get the stuff done.
I completely, I woke up, problem is I woke up and I was looking at mountain time zones. And then by the time I got on my walk, and I didn't even realize it until you said something and I was in the kitchen, I'm like, it's 11:30? I'm thinking it's 10:30, you know, so like I've got time, I'm supposed to be there by 10:30, it's only 10:30. Yeah, so I was gonna be late no matter what, but.
So you get it all ready and then you talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all we're doing is, we're trying to come up with a conversation idea right now.
Well, did you
Yeah.
talk about this as a depression meal, Mom?
Yeah, no, we didn't talk about that.
That's where it came from. Was that you had chickens and you know had the apples and
Well, this came from the fact that you couldn't have meat on Friday.
okay.
So we didn't have bacon and all this other stuff. And Dad was just having fits because, you know, he never grew up with this.
Yeah, you mean Grandpa? Never had apples or apple crepes or pancakes? We're trying to think of the name.
My apple pancakes is my mother. And my grandma on my dad's side was the one that introduced this one to her because Dad liked it so well.
Your dad.
Yes, my
Oh,
dad.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we get a little confused.
That's where I'm getting confused, yeah.
So you have to say my father or something, because otherwise it gets confusing.
Now, your dad, was he Catholic then, if he never had this
Oh
meal?
yeah, he was
Oh.
Catholic, but they were different. You know, they're Catholic, but they were different from a different part of the country, and I don't know what it was. It was different ethnic background. I don't know. You know, those things were never discussed when we were kids growing up.
When you were a kid growing up, did you have, you're 90, and vehicles just got big until 1920, so you would have had vehicles in your house growing up, right?
My dad got his first car when we came back from the war,
In World War One or Two?
the Second World War.
That's in 40s.
He worked in the shipyards during the war.
So Mom was born in 1930.
Okay.
So during the war she was a
So
teenager.
I
Yeah.
grew up in the Depression, and
Well, this is how you stretched meals
Yeah.
at home too.
Yeah.
Because you had 8 kids.
yeah, and
Yeah.
everybody loved it. You know, it was always liked by everybody.
Well, we're going back into a depression. All the cities are being burned down, so we need to learn how to make these amazing apple pancake meals. We could call this.
Cheapo meal.
Yeah.
And who can't afford some eggs, right? That's a few apples.
We put all the ingredients on it because it's literally a 5-ingredient meal, and like 6 if you count butter. But so
A little thicker.
that's too thick. Do we have a perfect thin one? See the difference? So too thick. Perfect. Too thick. Perfect. But now you grew up in North Dakota.
In Western North Dakota.
Western North Dakota, in what town, Graham?
I grew up. I was born in Selfridge, which is a little town close to the South Dakota border.
South Ridge?
Selfridge.
I've never heard of that town.
Yeah, he's named after some guy that was from Europe. I don't know whether he was general or I don't know what it was. Now, how many apples have you done?
I don't know, a few?
We do 1 apple for each person.
Oh, so you mean because we have 6 people eating,
Yeah. So have you done 3 or 2?
3 or 4?
Okay. Well, we'll stop with the apples now. We'll
Well,
say
you finish this one.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll just say we're going to do first.
So you don't, these 3 we don't.
No, don't do those.
Okay.
Just say we'll do this for 6 people.
Okay, so 1 apple per person when you're doing this meal at home. So if you have a family of 6, you only have to slice up 6 apples. So I wasn't counting, but that's why we're doing these videos, so I can learn these amazing recipes that my grandma knows that it will be forgotten unless we get them on either paper or recorded, so that other people in the future can have these depression type meals and these great stories of why these meals came about. So, all right, you want to slice this one, Grandma? And it's okay to have them that thin, like paper thin. So you got your dad worked at a factory?
No, when back, it was such a long story. My dad and my mother owned a creamery and a gas station in Selfridge, North Dakota, and when they were first married. And then the Depression came along and they lost it, like everybody did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dad worked for a dray company in Bismarck. We moved to Bismarck when I was 5.
Oh, okay.
And we lived in Bismarck, and that's where we lived until we went out west during the war. We went out to Tacoma. And my dad's brothers were all seamen.
Tacoma. Where's Tacoma?
Washington.
You lived in Washington for a while?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know any of this. I always thought you just were in Bismarck, because the Tokashes are in Bismarck, the Schmidts are in Bismarck. That's all your sisters, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know
and
any
all
of
of
them.
us went out to the West Coast.
And how'd you get back to North Dakota?
You know, my dad hated Washington.
He knew it even back then that it was going to turn into
It was rain. No, it rained and rained, and he was a gardener. He loved to garden.
Oh.
And the rain during the war, I think all the stuff that went on with the bombings and stuff had something to do with the atmosphere. So it rained and all the time. And then it had these pulp mills in Tacoma, and the pulp mills smelled. He would have been drafted. And so his brothers who worked and lived in Tacoma, and his parents lived in Tacoma, they all wanted us to come there because then Dad could work in the shipyard, and then he wouldn't get drafted because they had a job that was. So that's why we went to Tacoma. We went there when I was in the 7th and 8th grade.
So even during World War II, it's not like the guys wanted to be drafted.
No,
Yeah.
they were. If they were eligible, they were strong and nothing wrong with them. They were that was it.
But they didn't necessarily want to go to war.
No,
No.
oh heavens, no. We don't make extra dishes unless we absolutely have to.
That's another Depression era thing.
It's an old lady thing. Then you use the same number of eggs as you did apples.
So we had originally started with 12 apples, and we had 3 left. So we
Yeah.
actually made 9 apples, I believe.
Well, so
Is that right?
We'll put some extra eggs.
You don't need to make it for we're having a dinner for 6 people, and I didn't know it was 1 apple per person. So that's the. But we're actually this is gonna be enough for 9 people when you see it. But like my grandma said at the beginning, it's such a good meal. It's like popcorn. You just keep eating and eating and eating, and nobody even knows about it anymore. So we need to make more stuff like this.
And
So
it's putsy. It's putsy.
it's slow, yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't like it because it takes time to put it all together, and nobody wants to do that anymore.
No.
But these are things that are really worth the doing.
So we got our eggs. We just crack it. We don't put it in the apple.
No, put it in here.
Okay.
Okay, why don't you do it and I'll watch it.
I was trying to teach Noah how to do the one-handed. So I learned this trick. You can crack an egg on a flat surface, and then you just kind of take your thumb, and you said 8? 8. So we'll do 8 eggs.
You just mix them up.
So it's almost like if you were going to do
Scrambled eggs.
Scrambled eggs.
So now we add the milk.
The milk?
Yeah.
Okay.
And usually I give it about a fourth of a cup of milk, and then I'll take a look at it.
That's a quarter cup.
No, that's a half a cup.
Half a cup. That's a half a cup.
I'll start with that. Well, I say fourth of a cup. Fourth, yeah.
That's a quarter cup. So fourth of a cup. So this is why it's a depression meal. You never wasted a little bit. Me, I would have just went down the sick with it. Not my grandma. Oh no, that's got to go back in there.
Well, you know, and the days are kind of
Do you
tough.
have flour that's already open? You want me to grab that one?
Yeah, I've got flour open, but
The camera. You know how you could tell somebody's a good cook? They have a flour holder. You ever notice that? The really good cooks, they always have these holders. I just use Tupperware. There. Get this up a little higher.
you already got.
It's pretty much in there.
I'll put in a half a cup of flour, and you kind of have to gauge this one. If it doesn't look like it's thick enough, and that comes from experience. You know, if it doesn't look thick enough, then their pancakes get really, really thin. Well, you don't want them thick. You want them thin around the batter, around the apples.
So at this point we've added eggs, 8 eggs,
Flour
and milk.
and milk.
And we have our apples right here, thinly sliced on the side.
We should write this all down, don't we?
Oh no. Well, yeah, I'll put it actually in my phone, and then at the very end of the video, it'll scroll through how to do it. But that way, if the people have to watch the whole video to get the written directions.
That's pretty good. When it looks lumpy like that, then that's about right. It kind of looks like pancake mix, but it isn't quite as thick and everything as pancakes. And you don't put any baking powder or baking soda or anything like that. Now you have to have a teaspoon of salt. It looks.
That's perfect. Okay, right there.
Okay. A teaspoon of salt. But you can't you can over salt, so got to err on the side of caution. Now I when we get to this point,
I must have cut those ones. They're too thick for her. So I only did half, and then I sliced. I'm seeing what my grandma's doing right now. You can actually go half, cut them in quarters, and then like you want that size. Not. I'm gonna. Do we have another half, a big one? Okay, here. So you don't. That's what I did, but you actually want a quarter. So she just took and cut all my halves in half. So.
and it looks like you haven't got enough batter on there when you did this, but you have to mix it up really good when you do this. And it kind of looks runny right now, but it won't look runny when you start cooking it.
This is the cleaning the table. This is like making chicken waffles. You get that flour everywhere when you're doing deep fried chicken. The reading tool. Butter and oil.
Butter, about a tablespoon of oil and a tablespoon of butter.
Okay, so you can see.
I put these all in these pans. And this one is on low. This one will be for the pancake after it's fried.
Okay. So the frying pans are on high right now, and the big pan, this pan here, I guess I would call that the pot. The pot is on just low. That's just for keeping the apple pancakes, apple crepes, the apple amazingness hot and warm after they're cooked. If I remember right, I haven't had these with you in 10 years.
They have to cook for a little bit
Oh,
after
okay.
we're done with this. But I don't want them to get too done halfway done and halfway not, you know?
Yep. Well, I haven't done this with you in 15 years, so
Yeah, so it's this is a hard recipe to explain.
that's why I wanted to record it, because that's the last time you tried teaching it to me, and I forgot it right away.
It's Putsy. It's really Putsy. You could call it a Putsy apple.
Putsy apples? Alright, that's what we'll call it. I'm going to get close-ups of this as it fries.
I'm slower than I used to be.
Not that slow, Grandma.
Yeah, I just can't do it as fast.
So you can't see it, and that's why I tried to do the close-up. But the eggs that are in with the apples are starting to cook with the apple.
Maybe you could just bring the camera down and into this.
Close up this way. So here's egg right in here. You can kind of see.
And this one here is a little bit slower, so you can see the way it is. Now I have to turn these.
Okay.
And the way I do it is I just use a small spatula, and I kind of pull them off the burner a little bit. And then you turn them over. That one is a little bit more than I want it to be.
Yeah, so it's more done, but it's not. I mean, do you want me to turn the stove down a little bit?
Turn the stove down, yeah.
To, let's see, that's medium?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you want it more like that light brown,
Yeah.
right? This
Yeah.
light brown is the
is
color
like-
you're looking for.
Yeah, this and this.
I would never have made these in my life if I wouldn't have got this video with you. So that's a much better look.
Yeah, that's the way they throw those in that pan.
Oh yeah, they look perfect. This is why they're called apple pancakes, and I call them apple crepes. I don't know if I've ever had a crepe in my life though, so. now we just keep scooping, right? Or do you want more butter and more oil in there?
No, just let it go. And then you can put it and do it later, you know, really thin.
It's really thin,
Yeah.
not as thick as we.
No, it's just as thick as that, but it gets that way.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now I'm going to explain what we're doing here, because otherwise people aren't going to see.
Yeah,
So at this point, my grandma is breaking up those pancake type bricks that we made. So the eggs and the apples that we made, she's breaking that up.
Yeah, and just put
So-
it in, and now we'll steam them.
Now we steam them. And that's why you have this burner on low.
And that one here.
I can probably start to flip this, huh?
No, not yet. When it bubbles up.
Oh, I was just looking at.
Yeah, when you get those little bubbles around, then you can turn it.
Oh, okay. I did not. I don't know that stuff. Yeah.
See now, that's kind of done there, and this is just kind of starting. It's getting thicker.
You want me to do it, Grandma?
Yeah, just a minute.
This is what happens. She loves to cook too much.
Yeah, sure. It's just
You never let little old ladies in your kitchen because they'll just take over.
These
And I'm-
could go in here now.
And I'm trying to take over my grandma's kitchen. I love how I said, "Do you think I should add more butter?" And until you looked at it, you said, "No, no, no." I know how to cook a little bit.
Well, I know that. Not in reflection on you. I'm just thinking. Now that doesn't look exactly right. So I you know, I'm thinking out loud. Not a criticism. Just my own way of doing things. I never criticize anybody for what they're doing. Thank God. I think they can, at least they're doing something. Here, you can put that in there for me. You can do it a lot easier than I can.
We're done with this pan now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, now we can wash that one. And dig around from the bottom up when you put another pile in there. So they all get done at the same time.
So there was with the steaming, we had just a little bit of butter in there, for the steam. That's where we're getting some of that moisture, and also from the eggs and from the apples. And we just have the lid on there that's set on medium heat now. We started on low and went to medium as we add more eggs, just because we're trying to keep that heat in there and steam those eggs and apples. So I just want to show you guys all this because this is, in my opinion, amazing.
These can go all on the table here. Picture them when you get done with that.
Alright. I'm going to flip this crepe.
Oh yeah, you're in charge of that now.
These are done, so I'm going to throw them in with the...
Okay, just leave, just throw them in, put the cover on, and then we'll let them simmer or steam for about 10 more minutes.
Yep, I just stirred them around. 10 minutes. I'll set the timer. I have no clue if I set that timer right.
Just look at the clock and get your timer in your head. Just turn it off.
I don't know how.
I don't know how either.
Oh, there, I cleared it off. I got it off.
Bring it in. I've
Whatever
got,
people,
you can put it right on this.
what they eat, that's their choice.
To eat.
Finished product. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, bless us, O Lord, for these are gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty, Christ our Lord. Amen.
Gotta go a little faster, Joe. Keep up with us latents.
You're supposed to think about what you say.
Yeah, we are. We ought to get
Not
that
just rush through it to get to the meal.
So, the apple crepes pancakes, what did we say that we were going to call them, Grandma? The apple
something.
the apple awesomenesses. Recipe is done, and here's the taste test.
Looks like you got quite a bit here.
Yeah, you're not in the camera. I always do this. Whenever I make a video, he talks off camera, and it always is edited out.
Oh, you're supposed to serve us guests first.
You can do it much easier like this.
There you go.
Just leave
taste
the
it.
pot.
Delicious.
Will you please pass the syrup, Beth?
I'll get done eventually. There.
Sure.
You ever had these, John?
Nope.
You never had that? You've never had this apple meal? Oh wow, you're gonna love it. Now a little syrup.
Pass me a napkin.
You, Grandma?
Thank you.
John, if you want to be on camera, I'll film you with your first
Everybody have
taste.
napkins?
Can you pass the syrup, please?
Excellent. John, you haven't had these yet before?
No.
Here, I'm gonna move this. What's your reaction?
Very good.
An old Depression style apple egg meal.
Very good, very good.
You're watching Love God, Love Life. You're watching, what did we decide the new name was gonna be? Oswin by my sous chef?
Oswin at home.
Oswin, my sous chef.
Oswin is my sous chef?
Yeah, it's my sous chef.
Yeah, Oswin is my sous chef. We're going to change the name of that because it's a cooking show now. And
You look.
you always need a good sous chef.
Explode.
Till next time, love God, love life. Next episode.